The stopgap bill would provide federal funding until March 28th. Johnson also linked it with the SAVE Act, which, if passed, would help secure the upcoming election by preventing non-citizens from voting. Let's bring in Georgia Congressman Andrew Clyde. He's a member of the House Appropriations Committee and the Subcommittee on Commerce, Justice, and Science. Congressman Clyde, your reaction to how things unfolded for Speaker Johnson yesterday?
Well, good morning, Cheryl. It's very important what Speaker Johnson said in that we added the SAVE Act to the continuing resolution. I think that's critical because if we don't have a secure election, then we really don't have a republic. For every solitary non-citizen that votes, that is allowed to vote, that cancels a citizen's vote. And we can never allow non-citizens to determine who our government is going to be and who's going to be in charge up here. So I think that aspect of it, the SAVE Act, is so critical. So I applaud Speaker Johnson for holding the line on that. And, we'll get to this, we'll get to the point where I'm confident that we'll pass this bill.
Okay, Speaker Johnson actually joined me on this program yesterday morning, and I asked him about is there a plan B and the political risk of taking this to the Hill, which I think was a piece of what played out after our interview. But listen to what he told me yesterday.
We have to do a resolution to keep the government going. We attach the SAVE Act to it because the SAVE Act simply says that states have to have proof of citizenship from someone before they sign up to participate in the election. This is a serious problem. We have races in Congress, in the House, that are decided by tiny margins. We have about 16 million illegals who have come across that border since border czar Harris opened it up with Joe Biden. If just a small percentage of them participate in this election, they can throw House races, they can upset the majority here. They might even determine the outcome of the presidential.
But I also had Congressman Austin Scott on the program yesterday, and he said that his concern was that Republicans would lose control of the House in November if there was a government shutdown. So this road that Johnson is taking, Speaker Johnson is taking, has a lot of political risk.
Well, this is what I think is the most important thing, is the House is going to pass a bill here, and we are going to fund the government. If the Senate wants to not include the most important thing that the people want, and that is to ensure that only citizens can vote, then it's going to be on the Senate. If the president decides to veto it, then that's on the president. But the House is going to do our job, and we are going to fund the government, and we are going to include protections for the election. That's what the American people want, and that's what we're going to get, or what we're going to give them, and I applaud the Speaker for holding the line.
Okay, so would you vote for the continuing resolution without the SAVE Act if that's what ends up back in your chamber?
Well, I'll tell you this, that's not Plan B. There is no Plan B. This is Plan A, and we're going to stick with Plan A, and we're going to hold the line on Plan A.
Okay. So the economy, top concern for voters ahead of the presidential election. I want you to listen to what former President Donald Trump and Vice President Harris had to say about their economic policy plans during Tuesday's ABC News presidential debate. Watch this.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax.
Well, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before.
What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan.
But I want to add here, Congressman Clyde, that the Tax Foundation said that her proposals, now that we have them, by the way, which includes hiking the corporate tax rate to 28%, would vaporize about 800,000 full-time equivalent jobs.
Her policy proposals would be a disaster for this country. I think the president was spot on when he described her plan as run, spot, run. I think that was the extent of what the Kamala Harris has. She is using what Biden has used for the last 3.5 years, and it has been a disaster for this economy. And we know that's the #1 issue with the American people. And they know that President Trump created the strongest economy that this nation has ever seen during his first presidency. And so that's why the American people trust President Trump when it comes to who's going to make the economy better. And are they going to be better in 4 years? Yes, they will under a Trump administration. No, they won't under a Harris administration.
Todd Pyro's on set with me. Todd.
Congressman, obviously President Trump is campaigning across the country in Arizona. Arizona today. What are you and your fellow Republicans in Georgia that are in Congress doing to campaign for the president? Because you have to be out there. Obviously, you guys are every 2 years in a re-election. Are you hitting the pavement and basically driving home the points that President Trump wanted to make in the debate, should have made in the debate, did make in the debate, driving home these points to the voter in Georgia? Because let's face it, if he doesn't win Georgia, he loses this election probably.
Well, I'll tell you, he's going to win Georgia. I'm confident of that. But what I'm telling people when I go across the 9th District of Georgia is it's policy over personality. Look at the policies of the Trump administration versus the policies of the Biden-Harris administration. The Trump administration gave us the best economy. The Harris-Biden administration gave us 40-year high inflation. The Trump administration gave us a secure border, gave us a wall. The Biden-Harris administration has allowed over 10 million illegal aliens to flood this country. As a result, we have increasing crime. That came home to my district in Athens, Georgia, with the brutal murder of Laken Riley. I mean, it is up close and personal with individuals. The Trump administration has the right policies. The Biden administration has the wrong one. It's not about personality. It's about policy. And policy is what affects every person's life every solitary day.
Yeah, no, and the Tax Foundation talks about how it would affect GDP and wages along with jobs. Just hours after that fiery presidential debate Tuesday night, President Biden, he put on this red Trump hat during his visit to a fire station in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. White House Senior Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates wrote on X that Biden had spoken about the country's, quote, bipartisan unity after 9/11 and said that we needed to get back to that. As a gesture, he gave a hat to a Trump supporter, a presidential hat, and in the same spirit, Biden should put on his Trump cap. Well, he did, Congressman. Moments like this remind us that sometimes we can find common ground.
I will tell you, I think the White House Communications Department is in full general quarters right then and there. The fire brigade is out because that in no way is President Biden showing some sort of unity by putting on a Trump hat. Either he wasn't there and didn't really understand what he was doing, all right, or maybe he's joined the Trump train along with RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard and Elon Musk. But I will tell you this, for him to try and create unity for someone he has tried to literally put in jail, put under the jail his political opponent, no, I don't think so. That was a huge mistake by the Biden administration, but it was terribly funny.
Okay. All right. Well, wanted to get your reaction on that. Congressman Andrew Clyde. Congressman, thank you.
Thank you.